The average human attention span has dropped to just 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Does that surprise you? I've noticed a change in my own ability to focus, so I'm not sure that number surprises me as much as it should. I've been an avid reader since I was a kid. There's nothing I like more than curling up with a good book. Yet, over the past few years, I've noticed a shift. My ability to focus is getting shorter. I'm not alone in this. Conversations with colleagues, friends, clients reveal a similar trend. We are losing our ability to pay attention and focus. Recapturing our focus and consciously deciding what, when, and where our attention goes is imperative. Stay tuned to learn how our insatiable appetite for information, social media, and other technology is hijacking our focus, the implications on change for your organization, and what you can do to take back control. Welcome back to the channel and the second book in our new series, the Change Leaders Book Club. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Dawn-Marie Turner, president of Turner Change Management and creator of the Readiness Mindset. Our second book in the series, Stolen Focus: Why You Can't Pay Attention and How to Think Deeply Again. It was written by writer and journalist Johann Hari. Hari presents a compelling argument that our attention and our ability to focus are deteriorating. My big takeaway, and you can see there were lots, that focus, thinking deeply, and the ability to pay attention will be the currency of the future. We are bombarded with so much information daily that we often feel overwhelmed or drowning in a sea of information, yet can still feel uninformed. The constant demand for our attention fragments our days, so it's difficult to sort out what is important and what isn't. What information do we need and what don't we need? That little computer in your pocket and mine is making things harder instead of easier. And as Johann Hari states, it's affecting everything from our mental health to our democracy. Tristan Harris, a former design ethicist at Google, states, we are becoming less rational, less intelligent, less focused. One manager I worked with who was on the verge of burning out stated he gets over 100 emails per day. And then there are all the text messages and all the other interruptions and distractions. When I suggested turning off his email for a period of time, or at least his notifications, he said he couldn't because he was expected to be available all the time and he was too afraid of missing something. Ironically, his fear of missing something and the constant distractions of all those emails and text messages made him less available and reduced his intellectual capacity when he was available. And that's one of the problems that Johann Hari states in the book. Our phones have become so ubiquitous that we don't even consider texting while we're having a conversation with another person to be multitasking. But it is. And it's also a significant impact on our performance. A small study done at HP found that technological distractions such as email, text messaging, and even phone calls caused a 10-point drop in IQ. And Johann Hari states that simply by having our phones constantly turned on, we may be losing 20 to 30% of our brain power. A similar thing can happen with your organizational change efforts. Organizations often attempt simultaneous change or move from one change to another without giving people the time and the space to restabilize, to ensure that those new activities and behaviors are sustainable. And because the changes don't stick, the organization gets caught in an endless loop of changes that drain the people's energy, reduce your overall capacity, and inhibit your organization's growth, performance, and health. One leader shared with me that they were attempting to implement the same or a similar type technology for the third time because the first two had failed and they still needed that technology. Another big takeaway for me from this book was the negative influence these technologies are having on our ability to communicate and the way they are reshaping the way we see the world. It's not just that. Back in the 1960s, Marshall McLuhan coined the phrase, the medium is the message. The idea that the medium shapes the way we see the world. Fast forward to today, and all those new technologies are shaping and influencing how we see our world. Whether it's X, or formerly Twitter, and the view that every event and situation can be distilled into 240 characters, or it's Instagram and the view that looking good and seeking approval is the goal. This has implications for your communication during change. Email has become the #1 communication method in most organizations that I work with. Yet it is the one that has the most potential to sabotage your change efforts. In addition to the high risk of misinterpretation of your message, we also read differently on a screen. Anne Manger's studies at the University of Norway examined the effects of book reading versus screen reading. And she found that people understand and retain less of what is absorbed on the screen. I have a previous video about the dangers of email and its potential to sabotage your change efforts. I'll include it in the show notes below. One of the scariest revelations for me in this book was the impact our increasingly fragmented view of the world has on our ability to develop and demonstrate empathy. I've heard people say it feels like the world is getting meaner or people are quicker to judge another person. And this may be one reason. Empathy is necessary for healthy and sustainable change. Only when you can see the impact and the magnitude of what your organizational changes are doing through the perspective of the people who must do that heavy lifting, can you and they achieve your intended outcome. Studies done at the University of Toronto show a relationship between book reading, something we are losing, specifically novels, and empathy. Through reading novels, we connect with different perspectives. You imagine yourself as another person trying to understand the goals, characters, and motivations. I don't know if reading novels should become a change strategy, but then again, maybe. What I do know is that this work reinforces the importance of storytelling and engaging people to create and share a compelling outcome story. It's the stories that allow us to get energized and create a shared understanding about the changes in your organization. And that can't be done through email and texting. Another revelation in this book was the effect that all of the overstimulation is having on our ability for mind wandering. When was the last time you gave yourself time to daydream? To just let your mind wander? In today's world of constant stimulation, there's little space and opportunity for mind wandering. We seem to pull out our phones at every opportunity. Daydreaming may sound like the opposite of paying attention, but it's an important form of attention. It's in these small moments where creativity and innovation are born. Johann Hari describes 3 crucial things that happen when we let our minds wander. First, we slowly make sense of the world. Jonathan Smallwood, a psychologist in York, England, who has studied the effects of mind wandering, found that the more you let your mind wander, the better you are at having organized personal goals and making patient, long-term decisions. The second thing that happens when we let our mind wander is we can solve problems that previously seemed unsolvable. Nathan Spring, a professor of neurology and neurosurgery at McGill University, states that creativity isn't where you create something new. It's the space where you make new associations between two things that were already there. The third thing that we do when we daydream and mind wander is we can do a little bit of mental time travel, which helps us prepare for what might come next. This is an important aspect of helping prepare your employees for change, allowing them to visualize and see what it's going to look and feel like in that new environment. One of the shifts that I made as a result of understanding the value and the importance of mind wandering was to shift my daily walk and go completely unplugged. Where before I may have used that time to listen to a podcast or to catch up on phone calls, now I just let my mind go. I've been amazed at how it has increased my productivity, my sense of peace and creativity. And it's similar with your organizational change initiatives. It's easy to believe that everything is urgent and to create a time schedule for that change. However, as human beings, we don't move through change in that way. Enabling healthy and sustainable change is not about completing a series of tasks and activities. It requires people to have time and space to make sense of what the change means for them, to plan for the future environment, make new connections, and form those new stable habits. I was going to check one thing. 30 minutes later, I've gone down several rabbit holes. I lost track of what my original question was. Does this sound familiar? If so, we can thank Asa Raskin. He is the designer who invented the infinite scroll, a feature of most social media that it's estimated now makes us spend at least 50% more time on sites like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Isaiah's calculations found that every day, as a direct result of infinite scrolling, a total of 200,000 more human lifetimes are now spent scrolling a screen. Johann Hari emphasizes that one step in regaining our control is to use all the features within the existing devices that give us back our control, like turning off the notifications. That's what I did. Several years ago, I turned off all my notifications. Well, all except my calendar. I have missed too many meetings and events because I got lost in a zone. However, that isn't enough. Unless we address the systemic and environmental aspects of the technology's design and how we access it, we'll always be under its spell. That's because it was designed to be that way. The concept of the environment is also valid for your organizational change efforts. Here's where we can learn from technology companies. When you expect people to adopt new behaviors, ensure your environment supports that behavior. In my old health promotion days, our mantra was make the healthy choice the easy choice. And as you outline your intended outcome, explore and assess what the environment needs to look and feel like to ensure it's easy for people to move toward the desired activities and behaviors. Johann Hari states, we need to rethink our approach to work and what it means to be productive. It's similar with your organizational change. Ironically, it's when you initiate less change, holistically, that you achieve more. This book was a game changer for me from a personal and an organizational perspective. Each day, I now look for ways to engage with technology on my terms. I turn off the notification, I set a timer for social media, and consciously unplug during times of focus and for at least 30 minutes a day. With organizational change, I work with our clients to identify ways of launching fewer change initiatives and ensuring the changes they make will stick and enhance the health of their organization. I show leaders how to take advantage of collateral change and engage in real conversations that allow people to connect and align with the changes that are needed. Let me know if you've read this book and your biggest takeaway. That's it for now. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll chat with you again soon. Bye for now.